Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, Waking Until 2001 here with a new figure for repeat Commissioner Andy, Rotor the Walrus in his post-Super Genesis look. I feel like Rotor is an underappreciated character. His original role in the old cartoon and the Archie comic was to be the tech guy. He modified Bunny's robotic limbs, he analyzed Robotnik's tech, he acted as the man in the chair for missions, all that stuff. But then he started to feel redundant after Tails started doing that stuff. So they kept having to find excuses for him to still do things instead of being outright overshadowed by Tails. It worked in the Archie comic because we had years to get used to him, but I don't think you could introduce Rotor to audiences now and have him stick. Rotor also has had more design changes over the years than any other character in the franchise. I remember as a kid how jarring his look in Saturday Morning Season 2 was compared to the first season. He looked so different, in fact, that if you told me the original Rotor was killed in action and his younger brother stepped in to fill his place, I totally believed that. Though I will point out that the Season 2 look actually follows Sonic character design philosophy better than the first one. He has shoes and gloves, just like any male character from the video games, and the tool belt bandolier is functional, so the hat's the only unique clothing element for him. In the comic, he had nearly as many designs as there were artists that worked on it. Sometimes he had shoes and gloves, sometimes not. Sometimes he had a jacket or glasses, sometimes he didn't. Heck, they couldn't even decide if he had cheek tufts or not. And finally, we had the Super Genesis wave. Rotor's final design stabilized with a sort of Storm the Albatross body type. So he could be the big fighty guy as much as he could be the big brainy tech guy. Basically, this new look would fit whether he was on the front lines or back in the lab. I also noticed that for the first time, Rotor has lost his iconic hat, but the goggles that replaced them are the same color as the yellow hat he wore in Season 1 of the cartoon and in most of the comic. I guess goggles are another thing that other Sonic characters wear, so I guess they wanted him to conform a little bit more. Alright, so enough talk about the design. Let's actually make it. Andy provided a 5-inch movie Knuckles that he already tried dyeing purple as the base figure, and I 3D printed parts of Elysis Knight's models to turn him into a Walrus Man. Once again, thanks to Corey for modding them into a printable format. Although I have no idea what went awry with the model for his head, because for some reason the eyes became a hollow space. Corey tried to modify it 3 times, but it kept getting this big void in the head's eye space. So I had no choice but to print it that way and use epoxy to make the eyes. The hands and feet didn't give me any trouble, thankfully. Now, aside from filling in the eyes, the only real sculpt I had to do was for his belly patch. The rest was a lilac paint job, which worked fine on everything except for the joints for his elbows and knees, which, as predicted, was made with that nylon plastic that's good for holding friction, but not paint. His over-the-shoulder tool belt thing is made with a strip of craft foam, with little folded bits for the pouches. It's glued over his chest so it won't fall out of place, but it isn't attached to the lower belly so it won't impede the ab cruncher waist joint. Now, integrating the 3D printed parts onto the figure required a little bit of carving and using toothpicks as bones to give the hands and feet something to grip onto so they won't accidentally snap off while you're posing him. And so there is post-Super Genesis Rotor. He still has most of the Knuckles figure's original posability. The wrists and ankles are mostly lost, but the misplaced swivels at the bottom of the knee and elbow still afford some movement there. And he's still pretty tall when you stand next to other 4-inch Sonic figures. But that's actually pretty accurate since Rotor is canonically a big guy. Though, if you stand him next to my Saturday morning Rotor figure, they're about the same height. So given the context of how the 4-inch figures are supposed to scale next to each other, I'd say I nailed it. Alright, it feels good to finish a regular custom figure commission again. I hope I can do the rest of these really soon as I work through more of my commission backlog. But thank you all for watching, and this is Wake Angel 2001 signing off. Take us out, Sonic.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001! Because between you and me, they're way past cool!